No pre-talk. Just like, hey, everybody, welcome to the episode.
I know, right? Oh, shit. Fucking. I'm Johnny 2 bottles over here, of like half bottles because I didn't go buy anything new, so I have still the Lac Le Mans. Then I got the Wild Turkey.
Ooh, is that 101?
Yeah, it is. So I don't work tomorrow, so tomorrow's headache will be just manageable.
I'm on a 7-day grind.
Yuck.
But I'm headed home Tuesday night. I got a eye exam Wednesday at 4:00, and then
That's what's up.
Yeah. So I'll probably crash in next Tuesday, and then I'll sleep in Wednesday. I'll probably grab some lunch and chill with the parents for a little bit before my appointment at 4, because that's right down the street from them. Head back to Cook's. I'm sure Swenson will come kick it for a little bit. Sleep in Thursday. Head home when I feel like it. I still got to go drop my keys off, which are luckily across the street from Nick's house, like right behind the hangar and all that.
Oh, that's what's
Drop
up.
my keys, because technically that apartment's still mine till end of the month. So I got to go drop my keys off to them. And then, shit, I may stop by and see Angie's new space. She's over on the west side of town now.
Okay, she's a West Side gangster.
So I may go check that out and leisurely head home, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, let me give the intro and then let's just ramble. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Pro Fishing Fans. My name is CB. With me is
Clay Haggard.
What up, Clay?
The video watchers are like, "Hey, get it!" And then on the podcast listeners are like, "Oh, awkward silence."
Oh, what's been popping, man? Good week?
Shit. I'll tell you what's been popping. My Retro Bowl team. Yeah. Them Dolphins.
They're gonna have to send us a little fucking advertisement. We're gonna have to reach out to them.
Hey, this app developer, they created this game in January. Like, this shit's fresh.
Nice. I'm a little mad but I was a little behind on it, you know. But no, this is a fun game. I'm enjoying it. Although
New Star Games LTD. They only got 3 games under their belt. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reach out. I'm reaching out.
That's what's up.
It's happening, and I've already I rated them too.
I haven't done that. It's a ton of fun. Although my Lions are coming off a terrible season. How long did it take for you earned? Real quick, give a premise to this game so people understand what the fuck we're talking about.
All right, guys. Retro Bowl. It's a sick mobile game. If you've ever played Tecmo Bowl for any old console, it is basically a spitting image of it. I love Retro Bowl because it is. I like how in-depth it is from the sense of front office. So you get to assign your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator. Every draft, you get to draft a couple players to your team. You have to manage contracts. But I don't mean it in the sense of like actually negotiate and all that. It's just an in-depth game.
You gotta spend these coins correctly.
It's simple. You know what I mean? Like, excuse me. That's what I love about it. Like, it's just a straightforward football game that gives you just enough involvement in the front office to enjoy the strategic portion of it.
Yeah.
And they give you 4 2-minute quarters of gameplay, and it's
that go by really fast.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I'm on like season 7 or season 8. And I've been playing it for a week?
I was gonna say I didn't turn it on until I downloaded it last week when we recorded because you told me about it. And I didn't sit down to try to play it until Thursday. And I sat there, I played it, and I got to the end of my 6, and I go, oh, I need to buy this. So
99 cents. That's 99 cents I've ever spent.
I jumped on that, and guys, this is unsponsored, guys and gals. This is unsponsored from
we just
them.
like the game.
We just really like the game, and if you spend $1, I don't doubt that you'll enjoy your time playing it. I mean,
they give you 10 games to play. You don't got to pay for it. The 99 cents is if you want to. Is it 6?
Yeah, it was 6 for me.
10 when I played.
Yeah, well,
I thought apparently. It was at least, but yeah, no. Nonetheless, I was like, well, did you?
I didn't hesitate
before you knew.
Not that. I mean, I played all the way until it said you have to play anymore. You have to. Maybe it was that many. I don't know. I just might have been. I just played that many games, and I
Yeah,
got to the
I
end
heard
and
it.
it said, "Pay me $1," and I'm like, "Here's my
Yes,
dollar."
sir. Yes, sir. Cash your cards.
So, right. Actually, you know, it was fucked up. I
Credit or
go,
debit.
I sat there and I went to go buy it. They said, "Sorry, cannot process." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Ooh,
I had,
decline.
I'm like, I had to verify my card, and I was just hitting pay, and it was stupid.
Yeah, you verified that shit for $30, boy. And you're the one over here calling me out thinking I'm about to buy coins to up my team. I did that shit all natural.
Yeah. I'll end up buying all the coins on this motherfucking game. Make
I
my
tell you
team.
what, man. I almost went and bought another fifth. This town branch is all right, but I'm ready for a change. It's taking me too long to drink it. That's why I was drinking little pre-drinks before we started recording tonight, because I got to get through this shit.
Well, I sat there and I was like, "Oh, I need to go get a bottle," and then I completely fucking forgot. So I'm
Good
finishing
story.
up this Lachman.
Ugh.
I may have to step away from the screen here if I move over to this wild turkey because I got an ice cube in the deep freezer right next to me, too far away that I'm gonna go get. I brought down the big ice cubes for it.
Brought one cube and
Oh
put
no,
it
no,
in
I
his.
brought the whole. I put the whole tray down
He
here.
goes, I brought
That'd
down
be
a
fucking
cube
nuts.
and put it in my freezer down here.
That would be
And
nuts.
then I'll bring another cube next week.
Yeah, right. One by one in the deep freezer. That'd be fucking crazy.
That would have been a good
I'd have to
transition if you would have rotated that camera. Bam, ice cube sitting next to you, bro. Fire.
just
Proficient
with a slight melt. With a slight
Hey,
melt.
hashtag ice cube on the description. I'm about to hit you guys with like 50 hashtags this week.
10 minutes in or 8 minutes in, 7 minutes, whatever. And I forgot to tell you that if you go to if you go to my Instagram, it's in my story. It's only, it'll probably be gone by tomorrow, but I'm telling you, Clay, if you go to my story and you go there and you'll see I put up this the PBR hard coffee.
Man, ask you about it.
So it tastes like fucking Yoo-hoo. It's not bad. And but anyways, I put that up there, and of course I tagged them, whatever. These cats are like, "Yo, it's also a great Sunday drink," and cheers, and did the private message to me. Then they put it in their story. I'm in the PBR story.
That's dope.
I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Looking it up. Did you post it in like of you in their story?
No, I posted it in my story, and then they reshared my story in their story. But it's just my hand in the glass, or the glass, excuse me, the can. It's not like I had my grill up in there.
Still worth seeing.
What's that?
Still worth
seeing. Yeah, it was just kind of fucking funny. I was like, get the fuck out of here, PBR. Good luck.
Annie Kirkland. That's not CB Watkins.
When my
Still don't see CB. Oh, we're 4 in, people. Oh!
It was funny.
TV said Saturday
Tara
Live.
hit me with.
They said still applicable on Sundays.
Yeah.
Should have had it ready, bro. Like... That would have been right now. Bam. Paid advertisement.
Right. Oh, right. I looked. I have two left of those joints, but Tara was drinking one.
Video. You run your ass upstairs. You get in the car. You drive to the store. You go buy your ass. You know what sucks is down here in Indiana, I can't buy booze right now. They stopped serving it at 7 on Sundays.
What?
Or selling. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, or I'm horribly wrong, but it is what it is. I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Welcome to Indiana, buddy.
You know how many motherfuckers are getting in my goddamn face like, oh, look at your state lanyard. Oh, whoa. Like, shut your boiler up looking ass. Talking to me like you know some shit. Get out of my face.
Is that who they root for mostly?
Yeah, man. They're all Purdue and Indiana down here. Like, those motherfuckers forgot they're at the bottom of the bracket.
Right.
Bottom of the standings.
Speaking of brackets.
Transition alert!
I was double touching that one. I was like, we gotta move on. 10 minutes in, we got it. What you got, man? What'd you think about basketball? We're at Michigan State, number 3 in the Big Ten.
It was nice to finally see them win a damn game.
I know, right?
It looked good, man. They all shot the ball real well, which refreshing.
Gabe Brown what is it, 4 threes?
Yeah,
How many threes did he have? 4 threes?
quite a few. I mean,
Early in the game.
full disclosure, people, Nebraska is like second worst team in the Big Ten.
Oh, we still almost
But
lost.
yeah, we did. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, but that's what I'm saying. It was good to see us win, but we're not there yet to the point of like my
Feeling
confidence is a little
confident with
shaky
March, and
right
March is
now.
a week away.
Yeah,
I mean, at least right now, last I saw, we were a 6 seed.
but I saw
Like,
too.
and I was gonna say last week, I think I was complaining that I was just scared that if we keep playing the way we have been, we're gonna be a no seed and we'll be a top seed in the NIT. So I mean, I'm glad to see that that win helps out, and
Yes, it
I'm
does.
comfortable now. I'm
Yeah, man.
comfortable.
I had the Ohio State Maryland game on at work today actually, and that was fun to watch. See the Buckeyes get a road win over the #1 team in Maryland. Not even that, man.
Yeah,
And what are they, 4 in the country?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that was just awesome to see, regardless of the fact.
I'm telling you what, the Big Ten's really tough. I mean, if you look at our records, it's not. I think every team in here is still Life Unexpected. I need to watch that. That's on right now. But all in all, the Big Ten. I mean, you look at that record that we got there. Where's it at? 12-4, 10-6, 10. I mean, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 10-6s. A 9-6, 9-7. It's a tough league.
We us Penn State and Iowa are all tied.
Mm-hmm.
So like we can't lose any more conference games though, man. Like we got to be able to come through and get the wins
Yeah,
because we
we
got
can't
look at this.
bank on winning the Big Ten champion or Big Ten tournament.
We got Iowa at home Tuesday night. We got to go on the road to play Maryland at the end of the weekend. Then we got Penn State the week after, and then the Buckeyes. And those are some tough teams. So that is going to be challenging, you know what I mean, to get through
Yeah.
the way we've been playing. But hopefully we can bear down. It would be a phenomenal way to go into the Big Ten tournament. Is to make a little bit of a run against some tough opponents like
Yep.
that. So
Well,
hopefully
you want to get some confidence going against going in there, because the one thing you don't want to do is get in there and get bounced. You don't want to you want to play pass. So I mean, right now, the top 25, Ohio State's 25, and that one we're 25, and coaches poll, AP poll, Ohio State's 25. So basically, they say that we're as good as Ohio State, which is not very good. That's the coaches, but Dayton. I haven't even noticed Dayton this year, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way, I don't think I've noticed them the way they deserve to be noticed at a number 5 spot right now. And now Maryland's 7. You said 4, right? That was a question.
Look at me going crazy over here on the notes, bro. I got some good content coming for y'all.
Okay, but can you answer my question?
But listening, I'm blacked out. I'm blacked out. What's up? What's going on?
Jesus. Didn't you just say that Maryland was 4?
I thought so.
Yeah, they're 7 right now. So.
You did all that shit for that correction?
Well, I mean, because you left it with a real fucking question, just sitting there waiting for somebody to answer. So I was just like, this dude. What are you looking at?
Notes, bro.
We're 14 minutes in. We should have had our notes in.
Man, I got some good shit coming right now for y'all. You don't know shit about me.
Let me live my life. I don't know. Michigan, didn't they? They just won.
Ooh.
You're killing me, Smalls. Stop typing notes.
I said boo. What do you want from me, bro?
Would you not to type notes and carry a conversation? Jesus. This is the reason why they tune in to hear us conversate.
Oh man, I hope when we get to whatever the fuck I have to say, you're just like meh.
I won't be mad. I saw what it is, but I mean, like,
Fire!
Jesus.
Fire!
You gotta still hold the conversation when you're typing.
Man, motherfucker, get a good conversation going. You gotta grab my attention, CB. I want you to work for it, man. Work for it.
Motherfucker, this ain't me interview time, Clay. This is us talking. And I did ask you a question, and you just left my question out there.
I answered the question.
And I don't remember where I was going with that. There was like a real question, but whatever. Motherfucker. You got anything else with NCAA basketball? You put this big picture in here, and I thought you had a lot to talk about the
that big picture
right now. Word. I got you. We don't have a transition for what we want to talk about next.
No.
But the NFL, no, we do. Stay with football. This is the most awkward fucking pod we've had.
Transition!
A long fucking time, I'm bugging right now. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Started it up. You said, yo, take one more. And here we
I
are.
know.
Fucking tweaking.
I thought I was setting us up for success now.
Oh, man. All right. Hands away. I'm done.
Word. So, I actually, I feel like you had something else in here. Maybe that was last week. But I really thought you had something in here about the 40-year-old players, 40-year-old quarterbacks in the NFL.
Here, more notes on that. Let me type them up real quick.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. I got pulled up a web page already. So
I bet you got the same. I bet you got the same one that I got up here.
What site are you?
Being Over Club, ProFootballHallOfFame.com.
I'm on sportscasting.
All right, so Drew Brees coming back for another year of football. Go ahead.
Did you expect anything else?
Oh, I'm surprised it was even news. I was like, what do y'all mean? Like, Drew Brees is coming back? I'd be shocked if I'm more shocked that Rivers and Brady want to keep playing at this point. I expected Brees to keep playing.
I was gonna say Rivers is only 37.
Brees doesn't even look like he's slowing down much.
No. I mean, that's the reason why I
don't look at Brees and go, oh man, he's really declined as he continuously breaks records and like, I don't know.
The teams are still in contention. They've had a lot of fucking turmoil if you think about it in the past few years. I mean, shit, he missed most of this past season. Season before that, maybe it was 2 seasons before that, he was suspended. You know what I'm saying? So wasn't he suspended? What was it that he was out for? It was somebody was out.
Are you talking about
suspended?
Brees or someone on the Saints?
I'm talking about Brees. I thought it was Brees, but a coach was suspended. Sean Payton was suspended, but that was years ago.
I don't remember Drew Brees ever getting suspended.
I was gonna say maybe he wasn't suspended. I felt like he missed like some early games not too long. I mean, besides this season, but a couple seasons before.
Or you could be right, but obviously I don't remember it. So
it's not even that deep. I went down a rabbit hole there.
Yeah. But yeah, man, the Saints are still in a good position. He's still got Michael Thomas. You got Alvin Kamara in the backfield still. You got an amazing relationship with Sean Payton. Your franchise has been successful. You got Taysom Hill, who's just been extraordinary for them. So like and their defense is still solid too. I mean, it's their weakest link, but their defense isn't terrible. Like they're still a top half of the league team, our defense. So I feel like with all of that going on, man, like especially since the Saints play indoors, easier on the body, regulated, you know what I mean? Like no like inclement weather. It's a ideal place to continue a career. But on top of that, he's had so much success. I mean, he is the face of the organization. Like,
yeah,
and especially
he's
with him being in the shape that he's in, like, there's no reason I could see as to why he would want to quit playing the game of football. Too good of a situation.
that came across my phone as a notification. I was like, and then I was getting ready to go at it. I wasn't getting ready to right away, but I was like, not too long afterwards, I was like, I should probably just add that in there. It's, I guess, a pretty big deal, but I was like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. I never thought anything of it. I didn't even think that it was a thing. Thought that he wasn't going to play next year. So, but I saw you put it in here. And I was like, that was a good catch. Then it made me think about like the 40-year-old plus and all that stuff. I mean, Drew Brees, I think he's 37 as well, but Tom Brady's 41. He's the oldest right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, in the
Uh,
NFL?
40 years old. Drew Brees is 40 even. Yeah. Tom,
Wait,
it goes.
oldest quarterback? Or he's not.
Oh
There's no
no,
way he's the oldest player.
the oldest quarterback is Tom Brady at 41,
Yeah,
and you got
I
Drew
think
Brees
I
at
think
40.
Philip Rivers is 39.
I thought he was 37.
30. Is he
Eli,
only 37?
yeah, Eli Manning's 38 when he just retired. So,
Makes sense.
um, yeah, where Ben Roethlisberger's 37.
Yeah, Rivers is 38.
I mean, your
Yeah,
Fitz
Breeze is
Magic. What
40.
is he?
Breeze is
36.
41.
Oh, he's officially 41.
Yep.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yep, in January. I didn't think that Ryan Fitzpatrick was that old. Let's check. He
He's
is 37.
38,
37.
37.
Yep. Shit, still getting it done. All I'm saying.
You are bought in, huh?
I mean, he ain't my retro bowl QB, but he's getting the job done. Hey, how about my shout out though? Last season, back in the 70s, George Blanda, 48 years old.
Oh yes,
bro. What?
That's
Quarterback kicker.
How many years was he?
48. I mean, the most impressive one is John Nesser, 45. But out of all of the top 5 of them, they're all kickers or quarterback at one point. This dude was a guard and tackle and played till 45. But it was in the 20s, different era of football, completely different era of football. But yeah, quarterbacks and kickers, that's the name of the game. So that's pretty dope. 48. Could you imagine? That would have been 10 years ago for you. Could you imagine playing in football in the NFL 10 years ago? Being 48? That's nuts.
Not that old. I'm not that old. And I mean, I'll be honest, like I mean, I'm 42. I had to think about it. And it just amazes me some of the things that 42-year-old athletes can pull off right now. I mean, I'm just sitting there going, I couldn't imagine throwing a ball that hard. It's just nuts. I mean, I'll throw out my rotator cuff trying to fucking throw a baseball as hard as the oldest pitcher going right now.
Right.
Be nuts. What do you think? I mean, I don't want to keep on jumping into Tom Brady speculation, but what do you think is going to happen with that guy?
Just going to realize he sucks and retire.
I mean, does he suck if he's not going against you?
Oh, no, not at all.
So you think he's going to So you think he's going to end up back in New England because you're just ready to still hate him?
I hope not. I still think that he could end up in New England, even with like that. I mean, all this is he's just trying to buy himself a little bit of time to figure out what's best for him. New England's buying themselves some time to figure out what's best for them. And, I'm not saying I don't think he's going back to New England. At the end of the day, I do think that they are ready to part ways and build a new identity without Tom Brady. But I see Tom Brady doing whatever is best for him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to go somewhere and say, you know what, I'm just going to try and help you guys. No. Tom Brady is a competitor. He's going to go somewhere where he has the best chance of winning. I'm not saying the best team, but he's gonna go to a competitor. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna go.
Yeah.
He's just not gonna go give some volunteer work.
I got in a conversation with somebody about that. It's like he's just gonna get money now. I mean, he's always giving them such. I was just like, look, I'm like, he is gonna get paid no matter where he goes to,
Right.
and I still believe that no matter who he goes to, I was like, they're gonna be more of a competitor than what he feels that the New England Patriots are, and because he's probably like, you know what, it'd be really nice to have a great run offense or a great receiver to throw to.
See, I was thinking that too because he needs not all the help. The more that the team can put the ball in a running back's hands and take pressure off of him, so he can excel in fewer plays during a game. That's going to put him in. I mean, dude,
look at not Eli, Peyton Manning when he was in Denver.
Yeah.
He had 2 dope receivers, a running game that was strong enough to, keep him moving.
Great defense.
I mean, a stupid great defense.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what he's looking for going into these later years, so.
Agreed.
But still wants to get paid.
Also, I didn't post this, but since we're talking about free agency in the NFL and whatnot, there are some rumors out there that there is some legitimate talks about the Jets moving forward without Le'Veon.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And it brings us right back to Le'Veon Bell. And, if you did, I did not get it.
I thought I sent the something from Instagram over.
I feel like I would remember it because I found it in some random news profile.
Oh.
Yeah, or maybe you sent it and I looked right over it, but I feel like that's some news I want to skip over. But
it's a good time. There's sometimes that I send so many things in a row because I'm just, I don't know, bored or fucked up that I'm just like, hey, let me show this. But
I was liking that Haha Davis video.
Oh, dude, that was me all day, man.
We'll get to that later. But yeah, man. I mean, so like, I don't want to speculate on where Le'Veon's going and all that crap right now, but fucking damn it, 4 videos in a row, yawning on camera. He said one more, Clay. Just take one more. We'll be all right.
I asked this question, but go ahead.
Well, go. I already know my question. I want to know your thoughts.
No, I won't forget mine. I probably will, but go ahead. Yours is probably more intriguing. Let's rock.
He says, "I don't trust you. I don't think you'll remember." What was I gonna say? Kidding. Le'Veon Bell. How do you feel about all of the money, all of the time spent to pay and get Le'Veon to come to New York to now just cut ties with them 1 year in? I mean, like, just in general, like, how bizarre is that? Like, you don't see that often in sports. Or like I was going to say, you don't see that often in football, let alone sports. Like, to pay a big name player, one of the best in the league, and then be like, like 1 year into his contract. It's just, it's a unique thing. And I'm just curious, if Le'Veon got a good end of the deal on this, if he made a mistake, or what you think.
I was just seeing if who their coach was right now.
Adam Gase.
Yeah,
He's not. He didn't want Le'Veon to begin with. He wasn't ever happy with him.
When did he become the head coach? A couple years ago.
Last year. Last year was his first year.
Yeah. Ask your question again because I'm frustrated because the situations make me mad. So, ask your question again though.
Who made a bigger mistake? Did Le'Veon make a bigger mistake signing with New York, or did New York make a bigger mistake wanting to sign him?
Fuck that. No, he got guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're gonna say "fuck it, you're gone," all right, cool.
Do you think the team is the one pushing for his release or trade? Or trade, I should say trade.
I would say yes because of the fact that they must not either he doesn't, has verbally said I don't want to be here anymore, and at that point you're not going to get the quality of play out of a player that you're going to need. So they're definitely going to push like, okay, you don't want to here, let's get you out of here, because they are on a huge building life right now ever since for quite a long time. Um, and if he doesn't want to be there, now you got to go figure out how you can spend more money somewhere else for a player that is actually going to build the franchise. And it just now starts to make me think that maybe these players sitting out and trying to control the destiny of the NFL. And what I was afraid of happening was that they're going to start, basically doing what the NBA does, and the players control the what happens. Because you had AB that sat out, you had Le'Veon. Who was it a couple years ago? Who's the first? It was before Le'Veon.
I mean, Melvin Gordon just kind of held out. Michael Crabtree held out a very long time ago.
Michael Crabtree back there. I mean, where you sit there and it hasn't been working out for these guys to do that, whether it be situations that you put yourself in.
Worked for Zeke.
With a team, or what's that?
Worked for Zeke.
Yeah. Zeke's the only one. But, I mean, I think that Jerry Jones is you knew what you're going to get with him for, trying to fight. At the end of the day, he's willing to spend the money.
He's worth it.
If he believes in him. And
as much as Zeke I love Le'Veon and all these other guys, Zeke is worth every dollar of a big contract, man. That dude is a absolute beast.
He came in and just started rolling cats.
Bro.
What was it? I think, wasn't it him that was down in Cabo when the games were going and they were trying to say something about the fact that he wasn't even, he was on vacation. No, he's on the beach working out, running.
I thought he was on a boat.
I thought he was on the beach, man.
What the fuck he was.
It doesn't matter because he came in and performed his fucking ass off last year. And I'll be honest, it's probably Jason Garrett's reason why they didn't do well, because that's a hell of a Dallas Cowboys team, to be honest with you. So, you think Dak's gonna re-sign down there? Isn't that still up for grabs?
Yeah, if he has a good season, I think they'll keep him. Especially having like a new coach and all that, unless the coach like really doesn't like him and he really shits the bed. But I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah,
it'll be all right.
So. My question to you was, do you think maybe because we were both definitely on Juice's side, we've been on every player's side when it comes to this, know your worth and work for your worth, but it's kind of starting to seem like it's not really panning out so well for these players career-wise. How do you feel that way too, or is that just me?
I feel at a certain point in your career, if you feel like holding out because for the betterment of yourself, I guess let's put it this way. I feel like you have to really earn the right to be able to just sit out and make that bread. You know what I mean? I remember me and my dad had a conversation going out to a game one time about Saquon and sitting out and asking for all this money, or was it Zeke? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Any of those guys. Zeke. And we were talking about that, and like don't get me wrong, like these guys are still the ones putting their bodies on the line. If they want to sit out, they have the right to. That I won't argue.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm just saying, like, if you are a young kid and you are 2 years in, and I know like Zeke kind of did this, and you're like, I'm gonna sit out, like I know what's best for me. I feel like sometimes that's maybe a little too soon. As a rookie, it's hard to just say, I'm so important. You know what I mean? As a 21-year-old, that I'm just going to sit here until you pay me the millions of dollars that I think I'm worth. All I'm saying is that's a harder sell than it is being a Le'Veon Bell who's been like, yo, so just so you guys, know, the last few years, I've been the leader. I've led this league in this craft. I've been doing this for, several years now. And getting to an older age, I'm ready to make sure that I'm getting paid what I think I'm due. but also I have a resume to prove of consistent success at a high level. I'll leave it at that.
I should have written down what I was getting ready to say because I had something on that, and that I mean, I agree with the 100%. Like, yeah, you deserve to be able to say what you believe you're worth and all that. It just seems like I feel like I feel like ever since we've been back in that kind of, not just us, but I mean, like, ever since this has started happening, I've seen it fail for the player more so than I've seen it win for the
Agreed.
player.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
like
let me ask you
maybe,
this then.
do you think, oh, I know what I was going to say, the player association, don't you think maybe they should start saying, how about the rookie contracts only be 2 years or whatever it
Yeah.
is that
Well,
you feel?
still
I
agree
feel
with
like,
that. I still agree with like I think 3 years is the magic number. 4 is what they typically sign for.
right.
And dude, I mean, if you think about it, that can sometimes be a third of your career, a quarter
Mhm.
of your career. That's a substantial amount of time to not be in control of something, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm overthinking it, but at the running back position, you see guys come into the league and they'll, like at that position, you usually get 3 to 4 years of elite status. There's constantly changing in like leadership at that role, and there's constant changing of who is the best at that position. You know what I mean? Like you don't see a running
You
back and
don't,
saying, "Oh, dude, he was the best running back for 11 straight seasons." That
you
just
don't
doesn't
see
happen.
many. I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. Like you don't see a lot of great running backs that are. I mean, because like if you think about it, like they come in the league 21 years old, right? And let's say that they run until they're 35, if they're lucky.
Yeah.
You know. Now we're saying that's a 15-year career.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you're definitely right. You want to take a third of that away and on some possible bullshit money.
Hmm.
Like after that 4 years, you're on the
After
decline.
after you drafted me in the first round,
Yeah. So
because late,
like
I mean,
I
out
I
of the players we've talked about, like Saquon. No, I know Saquon wasn't holding out, but Saquon is a name that came up. Zeke is a name that came up. Those guys right there, those are top five
just
picks. Then you
yeah.
got Le'Veon. Le'Veon didn't go that high, but like Le'Veon
No,
was
but
I don't know. Actually, I don't remember where he got drafted. Middle rounds,
at the end of the day, he ended
nonetheless.
up
Point being.
earning he outplayed his contract.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know. So it's that kind of thing. I think 2 years. Like I get saying three because that's a nice split. But I actually think 2 years,
Yep.
like you're either bought into me in 2 years or you're not.
Yep.
Like, I mean, you basically saying I got 2 years to audition. Here, let's if I show out, then let's get paid because this is good when you're really gonna use my body up.
Yep.
Because after I'm younger or as I get older, you're gonna stop using me as much. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go from an every down back to a specialty back to
Yep.
uh, you know, uh, that's just silly. So, I mean, right now the fact that the NFL's Player Association is in meetings right now and they're working with the owners trying to make changes and such. I didn't look into too much what was on that docket, and I wish I would have had time to, but I'm going to end up looking into that to see what they're trying to get passed and see what the players are looking to do and how the owners are probably really trying to shit on these players.
Yeah, because it's funny you say that because my thoughts going through this as you're talking to, um, at the end of the day, we always talk about how sports is a business, or at least I know I touch on that a lot. And after 2 years, 2-year rookie contract or a 3-year rookie contract, whatever it may be, as an owner, or as an organization, you have to decide, if the player wants more money, let's just say. I mean, at the end of the day, all you're saying is, I'm too frugal to pay you that much.
Yeah.
Like if a player, like let's say an Ezekiel Elliott, Zeke is gonna give you elite status. Like he's going to give you, that offensive fire. Like he can go anywhere in the league and he will still be a great running back. Like if you want that talent, then pay him the money.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like, and
this is
I'm not saying like give him the NBA vibe, and he's like, oh, yo, 80 mil a season, like an
yeah.
absurd amount of money. I mean, be realistic, but at the same time, I just, it kind of blows you away when you just take a step back and think of it in simple terms. You know what I mean? And someone's like, hey, man, you can either get these like $20 Big Lots earbuds, or I can hook you up with these like AirPods. You know what I mean? You're like,
Right.
oh, well, we get the AirPods, but, you know, because they've been out for 6 months, I'm gonna pay you the Big Lots price. Like that shit just like, I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's kind of what they're doing. They're just, you know,
It,
that was
well,
a really
it,
terrible analogy, but you see where I'm coming from. Like owners are
well,
just taking advantage of young players during some of their higher energy years, and they're just telling them we're not going to pay you off of principle and history.
so why are video games such a big thing, like Madden and 2K? Why? Because it allows the common man to sit down and act like what a billionaire's acting like, and with real people. Like imagine this, like it's a lot of fun, and like you're like, oh, I gotta create this great team whenever you put together your dynasty team for Madden, right?
I love it, dude.
And I'm not even saying fantasy draft. I'm just talking
No,
like
I meant like
just.
in Madden.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about Madden,
So
I love doing drafts and drafting
yes.
my whole year. I think I did 60 something drafts in Madden 19.
Oh wow.
I would draft a team and then just start a new season and then draft another team just to see how good of a team I could put together.
That's dope.
There's actually a
But
formula
I
to
mean,
it, so
but the thing
kinda
the
cheating.
thing is, it's like you're doing it for fun as a game. That's exactly what these billionaires are doing. All the NFL is to these guys is just a game. And they're like, how much am I willing to spend on this game? Because here's the thing, you can not necessarily Madden, but like a mobile game, like the pay per play shit. How good do you want your player to get?
Mhm.
It's just a matter of how much do you willing to spend out of your hard earned money, and this is their game. It's
Yeah.
nuts to think about, and you're playing around with human beings' lives because of the fact that these guys are like, I'm willing to be a fucking gladiator for you. How much are you willing to pay?
Mhm.
That's nuts. It's just nuts to think about. I don't know. I'm looking forward to looking more into what's going on here and the arbitrations and all that stuff, trying to figure out what's
Hey,
going to pop off. So
you know who needs a running back?
the Lions. Nah, look at you, always pandering.
We got a
Come on,
white dude in the backfield, and his name's not Christian McCaffrey. Dolphins could use juice in Miami. Woo!
Oh,
Oh, that made me so happy, dude.
I hope he doesn't get.
If that happens and he gets signed and I'm at work, I'm gonna have to take sick time. I'm just gonna leave work, have to go celebrate, buy myself a bottle. You know what? The first thing I would do, I would buy a jersey.
Oh,
I would love a Le'Veon Bell Dolphins jersey. Nothing would make me happier. I hated him when he went to the Jets, and as long as
where
he's
do
a
you
New
get your
York Jet,
jerseys
I'll
from?
still not like him, huh?
Where do you get the jerseys from? Where do you buy your jerseys out of?
I used to get them China-made authentic rip-offs and try and find the best deal, and I would just find the best quality ones. But now I just go to NFL.com, bro. I just get it right from the
Yeah.
source. We got as Verizon employees, we get 15% off. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't buy jerseys. Is Alpha just merch in general?
Yeah, anything on
word.
NFL.com.
Never knew. That's what's up.
But usually you can find a better promo than that. 20% off, 25% off.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, nonetheless, I digress.
Ugh.
What else we got in here, man? I got some notes, I got some shout outs, and then you got some MLB stuff. I don't know if you want to get into that or not.
I mean, as whatever, but let's go into what you thought was more important than holding the conversation.
Oh, so okay. One of the reasons I got so geeked about this though is I woke up this morning, started my day like I do any other day, go to start brushing my teeth, and of course I'm already on Instagram. I don't know why. Well, brushing my teeth isn't the first thing I do. I got to handle business on the throne, but nonetheless,
He
so I'm
jerks
on
off on the throne.
Not what I was referring to. But I'm on Instagram, and all of a sudden I come across the wow, dude, I am struggling trying to think.
NHL.com,
Oh,
ESPN.
I forgot where it was at. It might have been ESPN, but it was basically the clip of Herb Brooks or in the movie Miracle, and he was doing his like little monologue, talking about talking to the U.S. team right before they hit the ice and play the Soviet Union. So Kurt Russell, who's playing Herb Brooks, is doing his little speech, and he's basically telling these guys, like, 9 games out of 10, we could go out there and yeah, they may beat us, but tonight, that's our night. And he's like, we're going to go out there, we're going to show the world that we got what it takes. We're going to take down the Soviets. Like, I'm sick and tired of their bullshit. And dude, that fucking speech just started off my day. So like that's how I approached today. I was just like, you know what? Like today's my day. I'm gonna seize the moment and I'm gonna crush it. We were slow, so I played Retro Bowl all day, but nonetheless. So nonetheless, kidding, kinda. But nonetheless, today is the 40th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice when the United States hockey team beat the Soviet Union in the 1980 Winter Olympics. And like being a hockey fan, obviously, or the people listening know, like I'm not like I don't follow every single game. That's not my number one sport. Everyone knows my number one sport. But past that, like I still
Field
love.
hockey.
I still love to watch playoff hockey, Olympic hockey. It's all just any international play is awesome. And what?
I said field hockey, and you just jumped in. Yeah, hockey.
Oh, it's because I was talking over you, bro. I couldn't hear you.
I was rolling inside. Go ahead.
So, nonetheless,
I'm sorry. I fucked up your flow, but no.
awesome, man. Like, there's a special on right now, and I got the game on. And it's replaying the whole game. Like, it just. Like, it was an awesome movie for any sports fan out there or any fan of just like the whole warm-hearted underdog overcoming, David and Goliath type movie. Watch Miracle. It's fantastic. It's a Disney movie. You don't even have to be a hockey fan. It's just a really awesome movie to watch. If you got kids, show your kids. Shit'll get them hyped up and then go out there and dunk on somebody or something.
See, I think I told you, like, he got a new. I mean, this basketball coach that he has this year is a new coaching style he wasn't accustomed to. So like didn't know how to really take it, and there's been a lot of friction because my son's vocal about his disapproval of shit. And
Sounds like someone else I know.
I know, right? And I sat there and I was just like, man, I'm like, I gotta figure out some kind of common ground. I was just like, the fact that that his coach is a Spartan fan, I was just like, apparently isn't doing it. It was driving me crazy. So I was like, man, he's tall, though. I wonder if he ever played ball anywhere. So, yes, yes, he did. He is a Spartan dog. He's a former forward for the Spartans. And I'm just like, so like when I went over to see, and I was like, hey, buddy, I'm like, so I checked this out. I was like, your coach used to play for the Spartans. He goes, what? All right, cool. All right, I'm feeling him now. he loves the fact that he's getting coached by a former Spartan that apparently is like a top defensive player ever to go for Michigan State.
There's two scenarios this is going to play out. Either one, you and I had this story or had this conversation off mic, or two, you just told all of our listeners the same story twice. So I'm excited to find out which one of that it is. So for all you listeners out there, if you've heard this story from CV Watkins, please comment or reach out to one of us and let us know if this is a repeat content or if that was off the mic, off record conversation the CB and I had.
Get you where you need to go every time.
He said, one more, then we'll start. Over here counting down, and he's just like...
Oh, shit. That's fucking funny. And as we progress into our podcast...
I
actually said something to somebody about that today, and everybody, it was like I fell on deaf ears, man. I'm like, oh, hey, did you guys know that today's the 40th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice? They just looked at me like I fucking pulled my dick out and said, I was like, yo, like, this is a real thing, man. I'm like, all right, cool. Keep it moving.
I think we could have done without that story. We could have done without that one. That could have been one of those ones that was like never heard by anybody, and I think we would have all gotten by just fine.
No.
I was fine until the dick got pulled out. That's what threw me off. I'll be honest with you. I wish I would have been typing notes.
Right.
Man, I'm just gonna title this podcast "Rough One." That's what it's about to just.
Have you ever seen a car crash? Question mark.
Just a shattered car. So busted up total car is gonna be our total.
Here's what we get for not really talking about what we put in here. We're just like, you put some words in here, I put some words in here. Let's keep it moving. I'm not that I'm meaning to circle back on NFL, but I did think of something. So I was listening to a podcast where Terrell Owens is on.
Yeah.
And apparently he wasn't. I didn't realize this. He wasn't one of the top 100 NFL players of all time.
I remember that. Yeah, that was some controversy.
I know we didn't talk about it, but like the only reason why I'm even bringing it up is like just heard it this past week. So, would you put him in the top 100?
Yeah. T.O.'s a dog.
If you're gonna put him anywhere, where would you put him? I mean, I don't need a whole list. I'm just like, if you're sitting there, like a rough estimate of where you'd put him. Okay, let me do this. So not all time. Let's not. I was gonna say we don't have to do all time.
High 70s.
Just do your lifetime.
Top 100, high 70s. In my lifetime. Maybe 50s.
Of NFL players.
I think somewhere in there. And I'm really spitballing this, but
no,
I know. There's a lot of positions. There's a lot of greats. I mean, it's not like T.O. was out there breaking records and shit. You know what I mean? But
so here's the thing, though. Here's the thing: is you can pretty much take linemen out. Not disrespectful, but I mean, like, I can't believe there's that many linemen that are gonna push Terrell Owens down that far. So I mean, if you're sitting there, you're like, okay, I'm taking linemen, out. How many people are actually, that much higher than him?
Yeah, and
I could easily put him in the late 20s, early 30s, I think. Well, I mean, when I was doing receivers alone of my lifetime, I got Jerry Rice, I got Randy Moss, Chris Carter, and I'm sure you'll be able to say somebody. I'm like, okay, maybe.
Randy Moss may be my number one. That dude is nasty.
Yeah.
He's so good.
But I mean, so I got three right there, and then like, okay, so I was like, okay, so I'll put Terrell Owens 4.
See, here's the thing: are we ranking them off of because I think the top 100. See, the thing is they don't just look at a piece of paper and look at stats. They talk about if they had an impact to like culture. They had an impact to like, no, I was gonna say the United States, but you know what I mean, like doing more for the game than just on the field. Jackie Robinson to what he did for baseball. That's going to always make him, in general, that story alone will keep Jackie a top 10 player of all time because of it. Granted, he was really, really
I was going to say, he's still kicked ass.
And he was. But I'm just saying, little things like that are always going to propel a player, I feel like, higher. It's just going to happen.
I mean, but that's the thing. So, I mean, but at the end of the day, when I look at just top 5 receiver during my lifetime, I had him at 4, and then I think I kicked him down to maybe even 6. I was just like, maybe I could keep going and try and find somebody else. But easily it was, Jay Rice. It was Randy Moss.
Another tough thing to do, too, is it's hard to say, like, players now. Like, it's hard to sit here and say, for example, Michael Thomas. Because he has so much more of his career left to go and things he hasn't accomplished yet. It's hard to say that he's better. Like, you could argue that he is better than Terrell Owens, but it's hard to say when you don't have a full career in front of you. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'm not leaving him out of that conversation for any particular reason.
But if T.O. was a 4, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that is, like, I mean, dude, that's up there.
I know, but I'm not doing it, and I'm not leaving him out intentionally because but I'm leaving him out kind of intentionally because I don't know what else he's gonna do.
Right.
He could, but no matter what, you are accounting for what each player did as on the other side of the ball. So, I mean, those are like, I mean, I had another like two other players. I should have written them down as far as who I thought maybe would knock T.O. down to about a 6.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as receivers go, but I mean, when I look at receivers, I'm like, he's in the easily top 10 receivers of my lifetime. And I get it. What the NFL's been around for 100 years, and I've missed 58 of them. I can't believe that the athletes that were, the 42 years before or 58 years before I was alive, was actually that much better than what we have now.
Right.
That I've got to grow up seeing.
Fair.
And that's the reason why I was just like, it's very easy for me to think that Terrell Owens should definitely be in the, early. I mean, all NFL easily at that point. I would say 50 at that point. Easily.
It's tough, man. Even with like current ones, because like you got to think of players that you're not even thinking of. So like Calvin Johnson.
Oh, that's who dropped T.O. down. That's who it was.
Pushed him back. You got people like.
I think Calvin was the only one. I don't know how.
And the tough thing is like some of it depends on like when they were hot. Like, because I feel like T.O. was, for the most part, man, like he held his own through most of all of his career. Like he was never like shit.
San Francisco.
You know what I mean?
He was like the third receiver. He was the third receiver on that fucking progression list when he first got there. And then he went to Philly. Then he went to Dallas, and he was the man in all three of those spots.
Isn't it crazy to think that he went to all rival teams?
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Like that's crazy when you think about it, dude. All rivals.
Here's
what about
what I.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think for him though, it was more of a comfort. He knew the division, he knew the areas, he knew it was keeping him in a general comfort zone in a world that's uncomfortable. He knew who he was gonna play. Like if you think about it, when you're in high school, before you're in high school, you're in middle school, and you're playing the exact same teams growing up, right? College, you play the exact same teams all throughout those years that you're in college. This was his way of keeping a comfort level, getting to see the exact same teams, and probably even made himself even better in the big picture of things, because he could just focus in on one division instead of all the multiple divisions. So
I'm going to keep on throwing more names out there just because I want to challenge you to the point of moving T.O. down.
I'm willing for that.
So what about how about one of your homeboys, Herman Moore?
I love Herman Moore, and I thought about him. I actually found him on LinkedIn. Do post a lot of shit. Pretty inspirational shit. But I still believe that T.O. would outrank Herman Moore.
Okay, Michael Irvin.
Ooh, okay. I would definitely push T.O. down from Michael Irvin.
Yeah, this is what I knew was coming, baby. Here's a question
you got
mark.
one guy.
And I had this one, actually. I didn't even have to look this one up, but I was just curious. Andre Rison.
As much as I would love to say Andre Rison had a very short
in Atlanta
explosive career.
So here's another guy that I was already thinking of that I've always held in really high regard, and I think his quarterback helped him tremendously, but that doesn't matter. Marvin Harrison, dude.
I thought about him when I was making this list. I was just like, but I mean, like, here's the thing is, once again, Terrell Owens did with 3 different quarterbacks.
Fair.
So I still would put him above that. When I'm making I get it's subjective to how you want to grade people, but at the end of the day, he was more of a problem. So for me, go on. What else you got?
I'll try not to go too current. Let's see. I may have to look a few up now. These are all good players. No one that's questionable. Randy Moss, yes.
Oh, I already had him up there. So.
Yeah, here's T.O., man. Yeah, T.O. 49ers, Eagles, Cowboys, Bills, Bengals. 1,078 receptions, 15,934 yards, 153 touchdowns.
Here's what people don't realize. He was still a beast in Buffalo.
Yeah, he had more receptions than Randy Moss. He had more yards than Randy Moss, and he had more touchdowns than Randy Moss.
I was more scared of Randy Moss, though.
I was, too.
Maybe it's because I spent so many years when he was a Viking
Mhm.
and I had to watch him torch my Lions. But
So, okay, here's a relatively new one that I wanted to bring up. Larry Fitzgerald.
okay,
Maybe not like a superstar deep, like not deep threat, but like superstar as in like showboat showmanship style. Talk about consistency though, man. Woo.
huge, huge, and the fact that he's done it with a numerous amount of quarterbacks, even more so than Terrell has.
Mhm.
I bet you, Larry's had 6 quarterbacks. Is that
At
fair?
least, bro. At least.
You know, and that one's argumentative. I
Mhm.
I I, I would I think that though, because how old is he? How old is he right now? 38.
He's up there, yes.
Man,
I
that's
know.
a tough.
Crazy.
That one there. I will say, if somebody had them above Terrell, I would not be mad at them.
Sure.
If since we're having this conversation.
I think if you go off of just athletic ability, I still think T.O. takes it, though. I still think
Yeah.
T.O. is better than Larry Fitz, but Larry's Fitz consistency throughout his career is unprecedented.
Well, I just think that it's hard to say that uh, Larry isn't as good as him just because that uh, of what they were able to do. I mean, like T.O. was able to go to competitors for a good portion of his career. You know what I mean? Like the Niners were competitive when he was there. I think Jeff Garcia was his quarterback when he was rookie year,
Yeah.
and that was a competitive team. Then he ends up going to uh,
Philly play
Philadelphia.
with
That was a
Donovan.
competitive. They went to the Super Bowl,
Did
and
not get
then
along with him.
no, well, no, no, no. According to Terrell Owens, and he's very adamant about this,
Mhm.
it's Donovan did not get along with him. Like he's just like, yo, like I was all about that guy. He's the one that keeps bad mouthing me. Um, and then
Tony Romo.
Dallas, Dallas, they were competitors,
Tony Romo.
and Witten. That was a hell of a fucking offense.
Hmm.
They had what that Austin guy
Miles Austin? No, he's
was
way
that?
too new. Mm-mm.
No, not Miles. Shit, light skinned dude. Catch the ball though. Um, Last name Austin. Yeah, I don't remember his last name.
Miles Austin.
Was it
He's just
Miles Austin?
he's just too new. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
What was I? Anyways, no, it's not that. That's not that guy. It was. I don't know why I know this, but this quarterback I'm thinking, or excuse me, receiver I'm thinking of, bagged one of those fucking Kardashians. That's all I remember. But anyways, I still think that I think he just stayed in the limelight, and Larry Fitzgerald never left. He's been with the same team. So who else you got? Anybody else that you think that could
Nah,
try to
not
move
that.
him?
No, because I mean the rest of the ones that I can think of are way too current, and I'm not going to argue if they're one of the greatest or not. Because I think of players like Julio Jones, who I just think is a phenomenal wide receiver. Yes, he's had some slower seasons, which hurts that, but like that dude is huge and fast, man. He's got hands like that's just like in my head, that is like the prototype for a good receiver. Big, fast, can jump, great hands.
Wow,
Like the
sounds like another
little fast guys are good too. No hate.
good for
I'm just
underneath
saying that's what
passes
I
and
would
shit.
want. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and Terrell Owens was that prototype. If you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, like I thought about that, I was like, wow, I'm like Calvin Johnson is exactly what Terrell Owens was.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then Julio Jones exactly the same person. I
Still
mean,
think Kelce's better.
body. No, I'm talking about body style.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. He's like
And then
that
I
body.
thought about AB even. I was like, I mean, because as far as like people that are very current that might be able to give that a run for the money, but AB's fuck that.
Wide receiver was Miles Austin, by the way. I just didn't think Oh, was he a rookie?
I
That
was
would
gonna
make a little
say,
more. That would make a little more sense. Yeah, because see, he was.
he was.
Let's see, he got drafted in 2006, so Miles Austin was a rookie. when T.O. was
Well,
there. But it was Patrick Clayton, Terry Glenn, Sam Hurd. Those were the other receivers.
yeah, Terry Glenn.
Who was their running back? You're not
Um,
gonna get it.
no,
I
no,
don't
hold,
think you will.
hold,
By the way, Drew Bledsoe was also a quarterback there at the time.
who was that running back? Who was that running back? I'm gonna be
Marion
mad.
Barber the third.
Marion Barber. That dude was a beast. He could run.
Fasano, tight end. Shout out Dolphin.
I thought Witten was there.
Hmm?
I thought Witten was there for the tight end.
He was third string.
At that time, he was
Well,
third string.
I'm sorry. That's the way they're listed.
Oh, okay.
So never mind. But
Because
Anthony Fasano was there.
T.O. complained about the fact that Roman was throwing to Witten too much.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Go.
Let's talk because quick question. We talked about this as we might not have spent any real time on this. We're probably not going to spend any real time on this. But do you think that the MLB might need to fire the commissioner? I think, and the reason why I wrote that is because of the fact that I feel like he's really dropped the ball on how to handle the cheating scandal. Like, it was just like we're trying to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of players very upset, and players just because not just because, but now spring training has now been in effect for a week now. The reporters are actually able to get to the players to ask their opinions, and there's not been a lot of, oh, they did okay. They did what they did was best.
Right.
Good job, Rob.
Yeah. I mean, fired. I don't know. Because I don't know what all goes into finding a replacement and all that. But yes, drop the ball, 100%.
I mean, so do you, as a baseball fan, do you want him being the commissioner of your league? With how he's handled this, because at the end of the day,
I guess if I had to answer,
this could be a stain.
I'd say no then.
I mean, Selig at least made the game interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, I guess I would say no to that then. No, I wouldn't want him there. I mean, anyone who's okay with like a slap on the wrist for cheating and changing the way people look at the game right now, because I mean that's a big deal. Like, it's not just like for another month or two people are gonna like talk about the cheating Astros. No, this is going to be years people are going to talk about, like decades. Like, this is a big fucking deal, man. Like, this the 2006 Astros, 2007 2016, 2017, 2018, 29. Like, this shit's a big fucking deal, man. This is going to be a staple point in the history of the game about the cheating scandal in the postseason and World Series.
Yeah.
Forever in MLB history, and his name as commissioner is going to be plastered, with that. I mean, and that tarnishes a lot, like, so I don't know, man. Like, that the Mansfield name is a little tainted now.
I mean,
because of his inability to hand down reasonable penalties, to the Houston organization and Boston organization. That's another thing, bro.
No, nobody's talking about Boston.
I feel like
everybody's only talking.
No one's talking about it
because nobody wants Boston to be bad. It's fucking crazy. Like, and I don't have anything against Boston. I had a great time at your fucking ball field. You guys know how to fucking get busy in that city. I loved it. But at the end of the day, if I'm gonna hold the Astros to a certain standard and a punishment, because it was proven, and it was proven with Boston, it needs to be, the same across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's talking about Boston. I feel like, it's been Houston all the way the entire time, and I don't understand that quite so much.
Yeah. Agreed.
What was I looking for? No, I was just kind of curious about that. Buddy of a friend of the show, My man Lutz sent me an article about asking the question. And I was like, that's a great fucking thing because I didn't even think about fucking if they should get rid of him.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
You know. And the thing is he's a Red Sox fan. So I mean, I was like, you want me to trash your Red Sox? You'll give me more ammunition, buddy. I'll trash them because I'm a Tiger. So somewhere we
We need
won
all the help
today.
we can get.
We
Yeah,
won
we
today.
did.
We beat the Pirates. So
We did.
uh,
It's the little things in life.
I almost hit you up last night, man. I was telling I was telling somebody I was jealous of the fact that I saw the hookup that you had going with the two TVs. That you had the UFC and the boxing going last night, and
You like that shit?
yeah, I was like, man, I was like, and then I was watching some fucking my kids had me watching this crazy Zombies 2 show while the fucking UFC was going on, and I was like, what the fuck? I showed a friend of ours. He's like, what do you mean? I showed him like a YouTube clip of it, and he goes, dude, you could have just showed me the picture art on that shit. I would have known that was fucking nuts. It was like
Yeah.
a Disney XD fucking crazy thing. But let's talk about Booker defeating Felder yesterday.
Yeah.
You saw that live action, right? You watched that as it went.
Yep. So it was funny because Justin texted me and he was like, "Are you watching the fight?" And I was like, "Bro, I just got home from work. I need you to slow your roll." So I turned it on, and I think they're still in the first period actually,
for
and
Booker and Felder.
first round. Yeah, for Booker Felder.
Word.
And yeah, and so I think Dan is his name. Dan or wow, Hooker, Dan Hooker. You said Booker, and I think I kept saying Booker.
Well, because I read it and I sat there, I'm like, that sounded wrong, but I just like, you know what? Clay doesn't mess up on spelling.
Typo. Hey, the B is right below the H. Look at your keyboard. B's right below the H. Legitimate typo. And it's funny because subconsciously it took me saying it a couple times, and I was like, wait, I'm saying Booker. Dan, once I said his first name, it kicked in. But so Dan Hooker beats Paul Felder. They fought in Australia, or not Australia. Wow, New Zealand, and Hooker is from New Zealand, so he definitely had a hometown advantage in the fight. Which Felder's American. I was rooting for Felder. I'll be honest, like I haven't been watching long enough to find a favorite fighter or someone that I consistently follow, so I just kind of root for the American.
Dude, in the UFC, it's almost impossible to. There's so many fights. I was just talking to somebody today. I'm like, there's a fight a week. Like the UFC has a show a week. You know, I feel like, and I just think it's almost impossible to know everybody. I mean, there's not impossible, but I mean,
Justin Swenson right now, challenge accepted.
Yeah, I know, right? Quiz me now.
Right.
Light heavyweight, light featherweight.
Yeah.
But
he's like Paul Cruz, 13 years old, junior come up. Roberto Sanchez, 12 years old, junior come up.
From the Dominican Republic.
Roberto
but no, I mean
Dos Santos.
So, it's just a lot of fun to see those kind of fights. And I actually I didn't watch that, but I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw his face. I saw Felder's face afterwards. I go, well, I need to go watch that.
Yeah, dude,
I went.
So Booker, wow, fuck you, CB. Hooker definitely won, motherfucker. He definitely had the first two rounds.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I thought
I'm Ron Burgundy
because he won the third round. Like Felder by far won the third round, and I thought he won the fourth round too. Their strikes, dude. At one point, their strikes going. I think it was in the fourth round or maybe fifth round, dude. They were like 13 strikes difference.
Dude,
that is
they were
in MMA. That's crazy to be that close in strikes.
They were fucking hitting.
They were too, and but you could tell Hooker was definitely slowing down. I thought Felder, dude, was throwing just cannons. The power coming from all of his kicks and all of his punches, dude, I thought looked the same through 4.5 rounds.
I didn't hear.
Dude was bringing it, man.
I didn't hear what was said, and apparently Felder said something about New Zealand or something because I just remember on some of the pre-fight shit that I was watching,
Yeah.
Hooker was just like, "You disrespect my country," and I was like, "Wait, what the fuck did he say?"
Yeah,
I missed that shit.
I didn't catch what he said either. I do know he said something about Hooker's wife because his last name's Hooker or something like that.
Yeah,
I did catch something along those lines, but other than that, I mean, I think at the end of the day, man, like when I'm watching the like all of the pre-fight like marketing
built
and
up
things
and
like
shit.
that, I always have to try and take some of that shit with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, like I know
Selling
not
fight.
all exactly they're selling fights, and granted they're not pay-per-view, so for them it's not that big of a deal.
Yes,
You
it
know,
is
but
because the more people that can
but
get to view that
views
shit, the more they're gonna
views
be able
in
to put
general,
themselves up there.
correct. But yeah, no, nonetheless, I don't know. It was a great fight. I enjoyed watching it, and I didn't have to pay for this one, so that was dope.
Well, I actually watched that fight right before Fury Wilder,
Mm-hmm.
and which was I sat there because I happened to be scrolling as I was waiting for the Fury Wilder fight to kick off, and Angela Hill, that's who I saw an interview with on there on last night. She's the chick that has the big hair like Domino from Deadpool 2. And I'm looking forward to seeing what she's gonna do. She's fighting soon, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Mm-hmm. What's her
but
name?
it was Hill. What was the fuck is her first name? Angela Hill. Angela Hill. She got big hair like Domino. Like that's all I could think of every time I see her in an interview. She's fighting real soon. I
I
think
don't
she's
see.
fighting. I think she's fighting with Stylebender. Stylebender, excuse me.
Mhm. No,
When
I'm
is
I'm going over
Angela
all the
Hill?
cards right now. Unless she is like a super prelim. You know what I mean? Like before like the main card. But I have not seen that name pop up,
Angela
and I'm all the way
Hill.
into late March now.
Her
Um,
last 168. She fought 160. I thought she was fighting soon. No, I could be wrong. But I thought she was fighting soon. Anyways,
so
doesn't
yeah,
matter.
man, how'd you feel about the Wilder Fury second go around?
Um, I mean, I wanted Wilder
Spoken
to
like a
win.
true Wilder fan. I was indifferent. I thought Wilder was gonna win. I definitely put some money on the fight. Womp womp. Lost all that shit. But but yeah, I tell you what, I'm gonna
Oh,
leave it.
wait, you can bet in the casinos there, huh?
I didn't go to the
Or
casino. I'm just on a website.
that's what's up.
Yeah,
Tell
but
me how fair, because we're not gonna give them that kind of love yet.
yeah. Um, but at the end of the day, no, I want you to take the floor actually, because at the end of the day, like I'm not saying I'm a bigger fan because I don't consider myself a fan yet of MMA and UFC, but you are a 100% boxing fan. The only
Yeah.
person more knowledgeable than you that I know of is my mother. And I don't know about you and Kyle Sawyer neck to neck, but I know that you are definitely up there. And if you're respected by my mother about boxing, then you're doing something right. So
Yeah.
why don't you reflect on it, and then I'll get some tidbits down at the end.
I had this conversation today, and I was honestly, although Tyson Fury was completely dominating Deontay Wilder last night, I was disappointed with the call of the fight as far as like throwing in the towel. He had that trip hammer ready to fucking rock right when they threw in the towel. If you go back and watch the tape, he was getting ready to throw the left as the ref jumped in. Um, there were some hard hits in that corner there at the end of the fight, but like he also missed a few of them. Now I did hear somebody say today that, and I didn't get a chance to look it up, that Deontay Wilder ended up blowing out an eardrum, which would fuck up his
Is that
equilibrium.
official?
I
I
just
was
said
waiting. Yeah, I
I
was
heard.
waiting to read reports on it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I did hear somebody say that, and I was just like, well, he did get hit behind the head a little bit. Nothing that I would deem intentionally illegal or anything like that. But that third round knockout was a little bit on the backside of the head, and I was just like, I could see that, being a thing because he was wobbly the rest of the fight.
Yeah, he was. He was, dude. It was noticeable.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
Noticeable. He was struggling to just stay balanced. Whether
yeah,
Tyson Fury was
yeah,
throwing punches or not, my man could barely move around the ring without
yeah.
stumbling. Um, Now the tough thing is it's hard to sit here and talk about this without it coming off as bias or like making excuses for Wilder.
Oh no, it's
But at
no.
the end of
I
the
mean,
but at
Tyson
the end of the
Fury
day,
did his
from
job.
somebody who, for the most part, like 51-49, didn't really care who won the fight. You know what I mean? It was just a
Yeah.
pure observer of boxing, kind of new to all of this. It was obvious that Wilder was fighting at a disadvantage due to that injury. You know
Well,
what I mean? So like,
after the third round, it was a completely different fight. I mean, like Tyson Fury in the first three rounds was winning, but it wasn't as dominating as it was after that first round that third round
right.
knockdown. Excuse me.
So, but yeah, man, like at the end of the day, with all that being said, I tell you what, dude, Tyson Fury came out with vengeance in mind. Like I was thoroughly impressed at how aggressive that he boxed, especially because I didn't watch their first fight. Like I've never seen either of those guys fight. That was my first time seeing
Oh
either of them
wow.
box.
Okay. Okay.
Because you got to understand that, like, first of all, when it comes to just fighting in general, whether it be MMA or boxing, um, I am very new to all of this. Like, I really didn't start.
You like violent sport. I don't get why you
It was just
never
not of interest to
gravitated
me,
to
I
it.
guess. Yeah, I just, it wasn't my thing, to be honest
Word.
with you. Like, I mean, my mom was a boxing fan. I always thought boxing was extremely boring. The only reason that I was even interested in this boxing match, one, heavyweights, very, 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 very good heavyweights. So you
Yeah.
know it's going to be a fight. Compared to like that junior featherweight title fight,
I was gonna say. So
boring
I
as
mean,
fuck,
like,
bro. Like,
well, because there's more with heavyweights, you get
right,
more bombs.
right.
With,
Well,
I mean, you get bombs with the light
yeah,
guys, but I mean, like, it's more of a science when you get to
no,
the
it is.
lighter
I mean,
weights.
because boxing is a very point-based game. Like, it's not just MMA where it's like I need to knock this guy out or submit him. You know,
But
or
your
you
entire,
technically you can take him down. But boxing
I,
is a point-based system. I mean,
I'm
punches
not
thrown,
quite
punches
understanding
landed,
how you
power
never
punches.
jumped into boxing because your entire, I mean, like, I don't
Yeah.
want to say your entire life, but a good part of your life there was Floyd Mayweather, who's from Michigan. So I mean, and it's only an hour away from where you grew up, right? So I mean, you had the best boxer in the world. Not, you had that home base thing. That was one of the things that really made me gravitate to him, right?
Sure.
And um, so I mean, because he was a Michigan guy, like I knew where Grand Rapids
So
was,
okay, let me
and
say, let
so
me,
that type of stuff. So
yeah.
I guess I mean for somebody, and he was always great your entire time, and I'm not trying to. I think what I'm gonna say is gonna sound like I'm downing like how you fandom
No,
people,
go ahead.
but I'm not trying to do that by any means. But the fact that like you look at LeBron James, you became a fan of that guy, right? Because he was around your time, and Mayweather was at the time that you were in high school. I would say maybe middle school because that's when I really started following boxing. It was in middle school. He was that guy, and it wasn't. I didn't feel like he was. I don't think boxing was so niche of a sport at that point in time that that his name didn't resonate throughout wherever you might be.
So I guess a few things to go with that. So when it comes down to the basics of just being a boxing fan or following boxing, one thing you need to understand is right now you probably couldn't count more than 10 people that are true diehard boxing fans like yourself. You know what I
I
mean? Like,
understand. I know.
so
I
my
know that.
point
I know
being
that. I
is,
know that.
to expect someone to follow a player because he lives close to you is crazy when the sport itself isn't heavily followed to begin with. Um, even now, what I would expect, what I thought you were going to argue, or at least
Yeah.
state, is how did you not get into boxing with a diehard boxing fan in your
Well,
household?
that was my
Because
backup
that would,
because the
yeah,
fact
that
that
would be
like
more
I
of an
mean that
influence.
was
Like Floyd Mayweather, first of all, like Grand Rapids is close.
but
I don't got no affiliation with them.
I guess
And
I guess
unless
I
you,
guess I was gonna say I guess the way I was looking at it was the fact that yes, you have such a diehard boxing fan within your home that you were born in, but I mean the fact that you also had this other person that was right not too a
sure,
neighboring town. Like there was like two things that didn't draw you into the sport, and I'm just trying to understand how you didn't gravitate to it a little bit more coming up.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the Floyd
I
being
think
from
you're still gonna
GR,
answer it.
unless you're a boxing fan, where they're from, in my opinion, doesn't dictate how much you follow compared to if you're just rooting for them behind the scenes.
Word.
Like you could be more of like, hey, I'm not a boxing fan, but yo, I heard this Mayweather dude's from Grand Rapids, so like hopefully he does well. Like I would like
Yeah,
to see him win. Like I mean, not a boxing fan, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't watch football, but yeah, go Lions. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
I
to me,
gotcha.
it's the same exact difference. But no, like, here's another thing too, is like most of these boxing matches, one, were late at night. So like typically
Yeah.
I'm usually
No.
like out with friends or in bed. And two, like,
You change your friends and not watching
by the
boxing.
time Mayweather hit the scene, like I'll be honest, like we weren't buying pay-per-view fights in my household. Like
Right.
that was not an applicable, like that was not an appropriate expense for my parents.
Oh no,
So
it wasn't
and
like that
so,
for me with
but
growing up
that's the if you think
with
about it,
Mike
bro,
Tyson and
right?
Evander Holyfield. I
So
didn't
if you
have that growing up.
right, so which I guess without the internet, without
I
pay
didn't
per
have it.
view, like how did you watch and follow these boxers other than just reading about them?
So what? I mean, growing up back in my day, uh, you
5 cents a
pe-
ticket.
you would end up knowing somebody that because you would buy what there'd be a couple families within the entire town that
Sure.
I lived in that would end up buying the fight, and what they would do is video record that fight on a VCR,
Huh?
and then yeah, right, and and so then and then that cassette tape got passed around throughout the town.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like
that grind to be a fan, bro. That's respect. Game
so I
recognizes
mean
game, fam. I see you.
word, gang, gang, so, like it was, I mean, it was a big deal. I mean, like if you didn't get invited, like the thing was, is like, if you didn't get invited to the boxing party, then you're just like, all right, well, you knew who had the boxing party going on, and you're just like, I know they're going to record it. I'll just ask them for the video. I didn't get to see
Yeah.
it when it happened. With Mike Tyson, you knew Mike Tyson was gonna fucking win.
Hey, back when Tyson fought, bro, like weren't the pay-per-views like $120 or some crazy
99
shit?
bucks, dude.
90
99
more
bucks.
expensive than now, and how crazy is that, dude?
What is? I haven't bought a fight in a long time. I mean, like
Eight,
I see my fights. Is it
80 for
80 bucks for
for Wilder
HD?
Fury 80 for there's only one. Pay-per-view doesn't give you the option. So,
I was gonna
but
say last
80
time I
bucks for
used
the
to buy
boxing
fights.
match. UFC fights 60.
I was gonna say you know what I don't like about UFC fights now? Isn't it like only 2 matches you get for that 60 bucks?
5, usually 5
Oh,
on
you
a card.
get 5?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I thought it was only like fucking 2 matches. Like, get
I've
the
never
fuck
seen
out
no,
of here.
I've never seen less than 5.
I It tells you how long it's been, like, because
Right.
I'll be honest, like I jump on, I have my ways. I find ways to watch it, and
I was waiting for
Dana,
the call. I had my kids on.
I was almost getting ready to call you, and I was like, I don't feel like going through all that. I just got it. I mean, I didn't buy it, but I mean, like, I got it, and not gonna shut down my
Fuck the
hookup.
police coming straight from the underground.
Yo, got bad because I'm brown, and not the other color that police think
Yeah,
they
I don't
have
get
they
to say
killers.
that. I always have to stop after the first part. I'm not allowed to say the next part.
Oh, I mean,
guess I'm
I
a little
can.
brown. Oh yeah, I'm a little brown. I'm a little brown.
Yeah, you still can't say it. But I here's the reason why, is that I don't say it, so I don't like people
You don't
saying
call
it.
yourself brown. I've heard you call yourself brown numerous times.
That I will say.
Yeah, that's
But
what I'm saying. That is the. That's what
oh
they
no,
say.
that part I thought you were
Yeah,
talking about.
I just meant like because You know.
I thought you was talking about the inbounds.
No.
I thought that I don't let that shit fly in my own home. So I mean, and we can get away with it.
I know how strong you feel about that, Corey.
Anyways, yeah, I was disappointed that I was asked about it today, and at the end of the day, as far as like the end result of this fight, I would have loved to have seen. It's not the way I would have wanted to see the fight go. I would have rather seen Tyson Fury get knocked out. Or excuse me, not Tyson Fury. Excuse me, Deontay Wilder get knocked out than for the corner to throw in the towel.
Put on the shield.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, man. Like, you got to find that fine line, especially in this sport of boxing, where there's been fatalities. Staying in the ring too long. Granted, that was a very long time ago.
No.
But at the end of the day,
that's a lie. That's a lie. Just a couple months ago, a young man died. I wish I knew his name right off the top of my head. But
I said the game is different from what it used to be.
Oh, yeah. Because they used to do 16 rounds.
Yes. No, yeah, exactly. Well, that and the glove. I mean, they weren't padded up as much. They didn't have regulation to the taping. Like, long story short, what I'm getting at is, yes, there are still very unfortunate outcomes of boxing matches, because it is still a dangerous sport. You're getting hit in the head. That is not what our bodies are meant to be. We're not supposed to be taking any type of blunt contact, traumatic contact, like over and over again. So
we love football and hockey and
right, but we're not supposed to get any of it. So I'm saying, to then take a fist and say I'm going to precisely hit you there on purpose over and over again, that's crazy. I don't know where I was going with this, but one thing I will say, and I feel like in order to make this a true, justified, legitimate, decisive result, I need to watch more boxing. But as of right now, I am heavily leaning towards MMA being my go-to sport of fight right now. But I don't do that to knock boxing. I don't knock boxing saying that. What I'm looking for from an entertainment standpoint, I receive more so from MMA than boxing.
I will say it is fair in that because of the fact that there are more big names. Oh, excuse me. Household names, not big names, household names within UFC. Because I honestly, I was kind of having this conversation today, and even with, it's, as far as UFC, there's a banner to look under for fighters. There's a banner. UFC is the banner, and you look at their fighters. With boxing, you can come from the, IBFO, and
so many
WBC,
federations and organizations.
There's so many different ways where, these great boxers can come out from any one of these and start working their way up, right? It's harder to know some of the upcoming guys within boxing than it is with I was gonna say WC, but UFC. It's easy just to look at the brand UFC and say, I'm going to watch UFC fights, and you'll see a bunch of young guys working their way through. And they're able to catapult their guys up a little bit faster than you can boxing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wouldn't argue that. I guess here's my thing. Thank you. I've been watching that shit for a minute and a half float in front of your camera. Holy cow. That's crazy you saw that, bro. You fucking Mr. Miyagi that bitch with chopsticks out of the air. I like it. Little fucking buzz floating in the goddamn screen, bro. That's funny. So here's some of my takeaways from it. One, the break in between boxing rounds is 4 times as long as it is in the UFC. Those motherfuckers get to take a nap. They go and watch some TV. They take a shower, and then they come back and they're ding ding round
Make
2.
A peanut butter sandwich and everything.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. I don't know. Maybe it was just late. But dude, those breaks are long, bro. I think UFC's maybe 30 seconds. Maybe.
So, no, they're about a minute if I remember correctly.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Google that shit. I was gonna say, so I think that with UFC it's easier to rest during the round. Personally, but now granted you're always doing something in either sport. I don't want to diminish because That both of them are tough, but I just feel like there's easier time to rest in UFC than it is boxing. But what I was gonna say was I don't remember now. What we got it yet? Google, motherfucker. You
I
serious?
am. I'm on it. Talk.
Oh, look, that series ready to go. How many minutes are on a break in UFC? Oh, fucking bitch.
Granted, I will say that I believe that grappling on the ground is by far more tiring
Hey,
than
speaking of grappling,
circling while you're boxing. I'm just assuming that
maybe.
takes
Well,
a lot of physical
your
exertion
body,
to use your lower body,
because you
your
got
upper
somebody.
body, your core, all while you're trying to put as much force into the person trying to push back during that.
Yeah, I
Grapples
will.
are tough, man. Like, did you wrestle? You wrestled in high school, didn't you?
No, I played basketball. I mean, excuse me. Let me rephrase that. I was on the basketball team, and there's a difference. And I don't want to make it seem like I was like a baller. I knew enough to be dangerous. That's right. I'd still get on the court with these cats after I played in an old person's league and church league, old retired church league. What'd you think about the consistent?
I think they each get a minute. I'll stand corrected on that, but it felt like 10 times
Yeah.
longer for those.
No, you definitely only get a minute for the for boxing, but I was gonna ask. So there was a lot of headlocking going from Tyson Fury as far.
Strategic as fuck is what that was. It was pissing me off because it was some pussy shit. But I tell you what, as somebody coming into that fight, I thought it was fucking brilliant. Wilder kept putting his goddamn head there anyways, and then Tyson would just wrap his head and hold him down. One, that is mentally straining on a person. That is like mentally another human has you in a headlock and is resting on top of you. That's that fucks you up mentally. But then physically, that's still pressure on your neck. You're tightening your
body.
core. You tighten your core in that situation. You know what I mean? So like,
here's the thing. Hey guys and gals listening. In case you weren't aware of the size of these guys, Tyson Fury was 6'9", and Deontay Wilder is 6'7". All right. So, and they were both 270.
Oh, huge men.
You know, and all muscle except for Tyson Fury. He's 270 of a human being.
Yeah.
And Deontay Wilder's muscle.
Probably 255 of pure steel.
Yeah. So that took a lot to have that big ass body of him just keep leaning on him. But part of me, because it was the 7th round is when they called that fight, I was like, you know what? I'm like, because here's what I thought Deontay Wilder was doing, and I'm probably wrong, in that fact, but he was trying to tire out Tyson Fury because. Yeah, I'll be honest. I couldn't. Well, no, because Tyson Fury was beating the shit out of him. But but what I thought was happening was Zion. You see that dunk? You got Zion on right now. Zion just fucking hammered at home. He's a fucking monster. But anyways, fucking Zion fucked me up. What was I just saying? Help me out.
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
Oh, you're a dick. I'm gonna stop paying attention to you, and then you're like, it doesn't matter, fam. I always remember what I'm saying, and then you just catch up.
Why is my charger not working, bro?
I bet
there's probably a light switch that controls that outlet. Motherfucker.
It's just like your internet is fucked up, huh?
You can say whatever the fuck you want, bro. I know it's not me.
Anyways, I don't know. Personally, I just would like to see them fucking get knocked out.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
So who do you think? Who do you think what's gonna happen going forward?
With them,
what's the next?
They're gonna fight. They're gonna fight again.
Do you think that Tyson Fury's next fight's against Deontay Wilder, or do you think he's gonna go against Anthony Joshua?
Not knowing who Anthony Joshua is, but I've heard his name several times.
He was the dude that lost to Ruiz. That Deontay Wilder fought
I'm with
last
you.
time.
I'm with
Yeah.
you. I think
I
it's
know
going
I
to be
catch
one.
up.
It's going to depend on how severe Wilder's injury is to his ear. I don't know what the recovery time for that's going to be. And if he did rupture something and that's going to take a minute to like, I mean, that's a big fucking deal, man. That could take a minute. So if that's the case,
That's your hearing.
I mean, Fury's not going to, step away from more money and another fight, especially if he's feeling confident and he's in a groove. But I know that
have to fight.
But I know that Anthony Joshua is no one to sleep on either. So like, he still needs to be careful going into that fight. I think. I mean, from reputation, from what I've heard.
So here's what I'm thinking as we're
Mom's a Joshua
talking.
fan too, if I'm not mistaken.
What's that?
Is she a Joshua fan?
Your mom is, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. I mean, like, she likes him, but if I'm not mistaken, it depends on who he's boxing.
See, she's
because she had Ruiz.
That shit.
She had Ruiz win in the last fight.
Did she?
Yeah.
Womp.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I told her, I was like, yo, you had me on that. I was like, if we would have bet money, your mom would have made money off me.
I thought Ruiz lost his last fight. Or are you talking about the Ruiz
against
Joshua
Anthony
fight?
When he
Got
when
you. I was gonna say Ruiz just lost. Who'd he lose to recently to lose his belt?
Deontay Wilder.
It was Wilder. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry. Because I said it earlier.
I'm a boxing fan. I'm up here.
I'm no Max Kellerman, but I did say it earlier in this podcast. So I mean, hey Stephen A, pay attention when I'm talking, okay? Now quickly, I did want to jump back into that whole like fighting boxers. It's just harder because of the fact that like in the heavyweight division we had those three guys. We had Joshua Anthony. We had
Joshua Anthony or
Anthony Joshua. I said it wrong. Deontay Wilder, and we had Tyson Fury in the heavyweight, and then we had Canelo Alvarez, and then pretty much the field right now because there's nobody up to Canelo's speed right now.
That man's a beast. I watched enough highlights of that. That guy's power and speed.
Every time he fights, me and your mom get fucking hype. Like we're sending fucking, yo, you see this? You see this? We're both fucking Canelo fans, but not of heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like right now, and you got to be a boxing fan to appreciate. What is it? 160, 165, something like that. Yeah. I mean, because him and Floyd fought 5-6 years ago, something like that. Maybe even longer than that. But it's funny because I sit there and I look at what he's been doing ever since that fight, and he's doing nothing but grow. I said at the beginning that that fight was too early, but it is what it is. He should be undefeated. As of if he wouldn't have fought Mayweather and fought him later, he might have been able to beat him. But I think he learned so much from fighting Mayweather that he wouldn't be the boxer he is today.
Sure. Spoken like true money team.
Thing is I was a Pacquiao guy, so I'm.
Yeah. Yeah, that other Filipino that fought Navarrete.
Yeah. That dude's a stud, dude.
Yeah, Navarrete is a stud or whatever his name is. I'm sorry if I got it wrong, but it's something like that. Fucking that dude, he threw 93 punches in one round.
That was Manny Pacquiao when Manny Pacquiao was 20-something.
I gotta look this guy up now. I gotta show some respect. Yeah, that Mexican boxer. Oh my God. Navarrete. Huh. Proud of me. Very proud of
you
me.
in your Spanish.
Dude, crushed it. That was impressive. It was a boring fight, but I was very impressed at them hands. So.
I mean, like when it comes to lighter guys, you gotta just appreciate the sport. I started following USA Boxing because we have the Olympics coming up this summer, so I follow them on Instagram right now.
Smart.
Yeah, I know.
I wish there was.
Look at that! Look at me patting myself on the back right now.
I wish there was Olympic MMA. That'd be cool. I mean, they do like jiu-jitsu and judo and karate, but like, you know what I mean.
And I thought about that. I thought that would be a really cool thing to do, but
I mean, then you could do that to anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, Olympic this, Olympic that, Olympic this. So like, Keep it
But
with the
isn't that what it
traditional
was?
mixed martial
X
arts.
Games?
Huh?
I mean, here's the thing: they pretty much did that when they basically made snowboarding a Olympic sport
Yeah.
because it wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
But
It
in the
wasn't, and
Olympics
then
there
they create.
weren't
So I mean, why
extreme
not?
sports. The extreme
But
sports, the
some,
X Games are a thing because none of those were in the Olympics at the time. The Olympics adopted all of that. So, from your standpoint, yes, I understand what you're saying. Well, MMA is big, adopt MMA, you know what I mean, as an
yeah,
Olympic event. My
why
thing
not?
is there's so much tradition. What they do is they don't just take MMA, they take the martial art itself, and there's competitions within the Olympics for the specified martial art. Because think
I'm
about it,
just saying that
MMA is
I'm
mixed martial arts. The Olympics is karate itself,
if there
judo
was a
itself,
way,
jiu-jitsu itself. Like that's all
I
they're
think
doing.
I think the MMA community would be best served to try to push it to
Yeah,
become an Olympic
I'm
sport.
not against it. I'm the one who brought it up. All I'm saying is I could understand how it would contradict what they already have.
Yeah.
They didn't
I,
have any skateboarding, BMX biking. None of that was a thing. So to
all
bring
right.
on certain events is something. But that would be like them having, for example, the half pipe for skateboarding in the Olympics, but then them going, oh well, now let's bring on, you know, park,
But
and then bringing on street park.
I don't think that it would affect the taking of the best for, judo,
Sure.
or, I don't think it's going to take the best away from that, because I feel like, and no disrespect to MMA, but they are getting the who couldn't master a particular thing like that, or didn't feel the
Arguably,
dedication.
some of those guys have mastered their
I was
craft.
gonna say,
Yeah.
I'm trying to phrase it correctly, and I'm gonna do a terrible job doing it. Justin, don't kick me in my dick when I see you.
Kick me in the dick.
But no, don't listen to Clay. But that maybe are just like, okay, I learned this, but let me learn this, because they have a more directive of, I want to do UFC rather than be the greatest judo master of all time.
Sure. I would argue, and I'm going to say something very arrogant here. I don't think any of those people who have mastered their craft could get into an octagon.
I don't think they desire to get into an octagon.
No, but that's what I'm saying is weren't you just referring to the folks who are already doing this kind of stuff to transition?
I'm saying that most of the time, these guys that are UFC fighters, they're heavy one way or the other, right? They're heavy boxing, they're heavy wrestling, they're heavy Brazilian
Sure.
Jiu-Jitsu,
Yes.
judo. They're heavy in one thing. Why didn't they just stick with that one thing and become the greatest of all time
Oh, I
in
see what you're
that?
saying. Sure.
Right? And I feel like it's because not. And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, because here's the thing: if you mastered anything, if you've black belted or get anything higher than a fucking white belt, and even if you're carrying a white belt, you're better than me, because I've never gotten to any of that shit. You you've reached as far as you can reach in that particular area of specialty in that world, so you're like, oh, well, I can do this, let me learn this so I can then become an MMA fighter, because that's your only best bet to be. Who I don't understand what the decision is to become an MMA fighter.
Yeah. See, I've always assumed, and once again, huge assumption, that these guys were fighters who then began to learn martial arts on top of their fighting. I don't ever see somebody as like, oh, I did, you know, and I'm probably wrong. I know there's people out there who are like, oh, I did 10 years of jujitsu and then was like, I'd rather punch someone in the face now and then make the transition full fledged. I'm sure it's happened, but I would like to assume that a lot of these guys who are successful were natural fighters. And then they said, I'm going to now become the best fighter possible and
Royce
train to
Gracie.
learn X, Y, Z. That would be my assumption, but I could
I
very
know,
well
I know,
be 100% wrong.
I know I'm throwing out an anomaly, but Royce Gracie from the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu family,
Mm-hmm.
that was their thing, and the reason why he dominated for how many years as the number one UFC fighter. Oh, I mean, like, if I had to write a list of the best UFC fighter of all time, Royce Gracie would have to be it because he did nothing but dominate when he was fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Now it took until they changed the rules and all that shit, but that was somebody that had mastered and just like, yo, this is what I do, and I will take whatever form of martial art that you do, and I will make it so I can still win. I don't feel like he ever changed his.
I guess
I'm
not educated enough in old school MMA before current UFC fight type to assume that. So I'm looking at these fighters nowadays.
I got pushed into a conversation. Not pushed, but I got put into a conversation today. Two of our friends, Nick and Justin. Justin, huge UFC guy. God bless him for knowing UFC because without that, without him being around, I have learned more. I wouldn't have learned as much as I've learned because of the fact that he raises great questions and great points for me to look at. But Nick was just like, he compared the UFC to boxing, and he compared XFL to NFL.
Like, is it similar comparisons?
Well, is it similar comparison?
Okay, sorry. What I mean by that is the MMA are mastercrafts of MMA. Boxing is mastercrafts of boxing. Those are two different sports, both at an elite level. NFL is elite level. XFL is not even close.
But kind of box or UFC could almost be looked at like that because when it originally started, that was exactly what that was. You had the best boxer, you had the best judo, you had the best this.
Was the assumption that the XFL is going to be around for the next 20 years and develop into a full-fledged league?
That's what Nick Cook was saying. Okay. I'm sorry, Nick, for throwing your fucking government name out there like that. If you need it, I'll bleep it out later. Let me know. But
no, he needs all the friends he gets. Clay said I'm sure. I hope Adam Jackson's listening and laughing right now.
I was gonna say Clay said his name fucking back in episode 16. Yeah. Anyways, this is a conversation that they had, and I told Nick I agree with you to the fact that yes, the XFL is the equivalent of what the NFL was back when the UFC is what the boxing was when the UFC started back many years ago. I was like, the quality was exactly of what you got of the XFL right now. Like you get fighting, and that's all you get. NFL or XFL, you get football, but it's not great football.
Sure.
No disrespect for those guys that are out there fucking laying it out. I've been enjoying watching. But at the end of the day, if you look at where the XFL started and the UFC started, they're exactly, level. Now the UFC has definitely shown that they have been able to, they're more marketable as a company. But once again, somebody like yourself who's just trying to jump in, it's hard to find a fighter to rock with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even harder than boxing, but excuse me, boxing has been able to put a couple big names in front of you. Mm-hmm. Where there's so many big names within UFC and there's so many divisions, which boxing has a ton of divisions, but I mean, there's so many they've done a great job of hyping up every weight division that you're like, ooh, let me check out these guys. Let me check out McConnell McGregor. Let me check out the he doesn't fight anymore, but Rashad Evans.
John Jones.
Jones. I mean, Rashad Evans, former MSU, wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a big Rashad Evans fan, dude. That is somebody I mess with. Like Rashad Evans has always been a guy before I was even starting to watch more fights. I always still mess with Rashad because of that. Yeah.
But anyways, ramble, words.
I'm so glad you said that because I already came up with our title like 10, 15 minutes ago, and it was going to be half ramble, half sports.
There you go. I like it. Hey guys,
Jesus, get it
I know-
together.
you
Drink
know what,
some
I'm gonna
whiskey.
be.
Drink some water. Figure it the fuck out.
I think my kid got me sick, man. I've been hearing him cough upstairs for fucking ever. And earlier today I started coughing. I go, that little dick got me sick. So,
Damn,
guys,
that sip of Coke made that shit look paid. Bro, are you getting plug money again without talking? That's a 50-50 endeavor. I could have had a Coke with you.
I know. I tell you what, man.
You are
like,
making straight side note, bro, and you are keeping that shit from me. That is fucked up. Hashtag proficient fan, singular.
Shout out PBR. Proud sponsor.
Unbelievable.
Nah, man. All day, every day. If it's proficient fans, we got 50-50. All right, hey guys. if it's CB Watkins LLC, then oh guys, thank you so much for joining us for our 2-hour episode here at Proficient Fans. We're out. Peace.
Take care. Yeah, that shit's nuts.
That was